Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm today going to talk about the Block Lock Flying Geese Square Up Ruler. Now this is the small size, 1 inch by 2 inch finished. So that's once you've sewn it actually into your quilt block. That's 1.5 by 2.5 when you're cutting it like this. So in this little pack comes obviously your Block Lock ruler, plus also some instructions on how to make them for varying sizes, plus as well on the back it talks about how to use the flying geese rulers to do squaring up square in a square units as well. Now I actually do the 4 at a time method with my flying geese. I've found that that's just easier for me, and it means that then I've got them a little bit oversized as well, so I can trim them down, and with my trusty little ruler I can do that nice and easily. So the flying geese rulers, the Block Lock ones, it's a bit hard to see on screen, but see where that sort of matte kind of bit is? That's actually indented. So I don't know whether you can see, whether I can show you. It's indented so that when you have a flying geese block done and needs to be trimmed, if you press your edges outwards so that you've got the main part of your flying geese flat and the other bits are as where the folds are, this actually nests into that seam nicely. I'll do it on the flat, nests in, and it means that you're going to get that perfect 1/4 inch just at the point. So you're never going to lose those points, which is the bane of flying geese, I dare say. And it means that you can then just like literally trim all the way around. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the 4 at a time method in a second, but I just thought I'd get to the crux of how I do my trimming, especially when you've got lots to do. I have a rotating mat, which is a very, very handy thing. When you get your little flying goose, singular or flying geese, pop your Block Lock ruler and make sure that it's sitting up into that seam. It's going to be a bit hard with the camera in the road, but then literally you just have to trim, and that's why the handy rotating mat comes in good use. And there you're done. There you have a perfect 1/4 inch at the top, perfectly pointed flying geese unit using your little flying geese Block Lock ruler. So let's go back to how I do the 4 at a time method, and especially when you're talking about little tiny ones like this, doing them 4 at a time is so much quicker. So what you'll need is 1 square and then 4 of the little smaller squares, and I'll have a link in the caption below as to what sort of size you need to do these for. Now remembering that I do them oversized so that I can trim them down. So once you've got your pieces of fabric cut, we then need to place 2 of the smaller squares face down, so right sides together. And I use one of these little rulers that is 1/2 inch wide, and there's actually a little, I don't know whether you can see it on camera, but there's a line in the middle. So I line that up with the 2 points. And I get out my air erasable fabric marker and put a line either side. And I then go to the sewing machine and I actually sew on those lines. And then you come along and you cut in between those 2 lines to get 2 pieces. And then you press them open. You'll have 2 pieces that look kind of strange, a bit like a heart, and you get your other 2 squares, place them in that corner, get your little ruler out again, corner to corner, 1/4 inch either side of that corner, and sew on those lines. Cut them apart, press open, and here you have your beautiful flying geese units, and you'll have 4 of them once I press these, of course. And that, when you've got your pressing finished, you'll have your little dog ears, and as I said, it's going to be oversized. So that's when you come in with your little flying geese ruler and trim all 4 sides to get your perfect flying geese unit. The Block Lock flying geese rulers come in lots and lots of different sizes. I got this one specifically for a pattern that had this tiny little flying geese size, just because it just saves so much more time than manually trying to trim them and ensuring that your 1/4 inch is correct. And I splurged and bought a whole set of all the different sizes. Now, that doesn't mean that you need them all. Certainly a lot handier if you do. But the thing that I personally find the hardest is getting that 1/4 inch from the tip of your point. Because if you cut that too short, you're then going to miss that point and cut it off when you're putting it into a block. If it's too big or it's wonky, all those things. So I find that even when you've perhaps got a larger ruler than the size that you're trying to cut your flying geese to, it still fits into the point, and it still allows you to trim that very top perfectly, even if then the rest of it you can't perhaps use to trim this particular block, but it gets that top edge perfect. So even if you only have one size of a flying geese Block Lock ruler, it will help you with all the sizes that you need to do. You would then need to still come and trim to the correct size for the rest of the sides.